Hello everybody, welcome to the 1000 subscriber special here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for your support. It is super awesome to see that you guys are enjoying the content. Today I have something a little bit different for you guys. We're going to be playing as the nation of Gibbard here, and we have a bit of a time lapse going on as this was quite a long game. We go all the way up just until the end date, just to make sure that I could obviously do the time lapse and everything like that. So yes, we are playing as the Gnomes. For those of you that don't know, Gibbard is a Imperial Gnome, and there's only one province that starts out as Imperial Gnome, and you never know what the Gnomes might be planning or what they are up to. So let's go and see one definition of what the Gnomes might want to do. So one thing you have to keep in mind about playing as the Gnomes, specifically Gibbard, is that we start out as a regent court nation, so we are the same religion as everyone around us, but we are a different culture, which means aggressive expansion is going to be quite the issue. So you'll see that I don't expand for myself for quite a bit here, and that's because I have two vassals. I had Benin and Leslimpar as vassals. And so I want to make sure that I was using Reconquest and getting provinces back from my allies using favors in order to expand and avoid the Emperor demanding unlawful territory, as that would reduce our relations a lot. Now, pretty early on in Gibbard's mission tree, you can reform into a technocracy, and that's pretty important because one of the factions for technocracy gives you plus 33% improved relations, and that really helped us keep up some kind of expansion because we were able to cycle through the negative relations created from aggressive expansion. This is quite a tall game. That as Maria region, the one that we start in, is quite high in development, so if we push too far we will get coalitioned, which is obviously not good. At this point, from what I remember, we have Ibavar as an ally, and they will be our ally for a long period of time. I believe Busalar is also another ally of ours. We had pretty good diplomacy, and at one point I think I was even allied to Laurent here, though Laurent and Goed, Goed got very large. So Laurent wasn't able to expand too much early on. We do have a Siren Var that has formed, so that was something that I kept in mind when looking around, is that we could have a threat coming in from the east. But we just continually expand, slowly but surely. Silverforge, also an ally of ours throughout most of the game. You know, we're friends with the dwarves. The short people, they have to stick together. And then I started to come upon some problems. We were doing our mission tree, and everything was going fine, but Wex was particularly large. And yeah, that would have been a problem for us because we are gnomes and our military isn't fantastic, though we were starting to scale up when it comes to military power. Now, one thing that went really well in this game is that we got spark drive rifles on our first invention, which gives plus 33% fire damage to our artificer units, and we have the economy to build them. So, I mean, our infantry, the ones that we had, were very good. Our problem was manpower and the amount of troops. We could not stand up to Wex at this time, but with our allies, soon enough we would be able to hit them real good. As you see, we took one province. One province right there. At this point, I think most of the nations in this area are, well, now they're definitely in a coalition against us. Most of the people in Canor, or at least in Western Canor, hated us pretty much constantly. As we were taking large chunks of land, and that was only going to speed up. Now, we didn't have much absolutism. We were a technocracy, and that means that we automatically have, like, I think it's minus 60 max absolutism, which ended up actually being a boon later on in the game, if you want to, if you can believe that or not. But yeah, Tellum was a big problem because in their national ideas, they have plus 100% spy network detection, so you literally can't get any claims on them. So we had to wait until we could get imperialism before we could even try to take Tellum out, which was fine. We had plenty of other targets. Now, one thing I do regret, I should have gone at blade marches here. Should have gone. I wanted to take all of this area for myself in the end, but we were not able to, as I did not go at them early enough, and Siren Var will eventually come and claim all of this region for themselves. But we had plenty to take in the Empire, which at this point was dismantled. I did dismantle the Empire right after the League War. There were only 2 electors and 1 Emperor, obviously, and I just no-CV'd the Emperor. I can't remember who it was at this point, but it took him out, occupied him, and it was all good. And then there was no more Empire, which means we were able to expand a little bit more than we had in the past. Now, there's only one more major threat in our way to the land that I want, and that would be Busalar here. And they're honestly not going to be too big of an issue. I think they had about 150,000 troops, but yeah, we rolled them. We 100%ed them and took most of their land and created this just beautiful, beautiful border gore here. Now we're just cleaning up these little spots that I needed to create nice borders. Pearl's Edge is another one. Magisterium here is another. Though the Magisterium was actually, their capital was over in the New World. So we had to wait a little bit to annex that, but eventually they decided that it was not worth it. And then we have Busalar right here, this final island, and then our borders will not change from that point until the end of the game. I thought it was a good spot. Could have I expanded? Yes. At one point, Sirenbar had like 700,000 troops, so that was not going to be a fun war, and I decided that it just wasn't worth it to fight them for that, and that we would just keep these sweet, sweet borders. Now at this point, we are allied to Rubyhold, and also Elisna, I believe it is. We have no human allies, and you'll see why once this time lapse ends. They were not thrilled with us. That is a easy way to put it. Though pretty soon the elves would also not be thrilled with us. There was a lot of people that weren't happy. I think everybody in this region right here had -200 relations with us, except for Rubyhold and Nimscod, and it was not from aggressive expansion. Now Nimscod, I ended up allying them. They took all this land by themselves, but then I subsidized them like 100 crowns a month. I think we were making like 1,000 crowns a month. It was insane. So I was subsidizing them. I was paying off Rubyhold's debt as it popped up. At one point they were like 10,000 in debt, and I was like, I don't know how. You have super far control. They did have Exodus released from them. They lost a war. I believe they were allied to Arnmus, and they lost, and so they had to release that. And I was like, well, that's not okay. That's dumb border gore. And so right before the end date, I was able to declare war on them, call in Rubyhold, and give them that land back. And I decided to take this island because, well, I don't know, it looked weird if there was just a random country right here. So I decided to bring them into the fold. And that is the end of the time lapse. So that is the wrong button. So we ended up forming the Gibberty hierarchy. It's just a name change, same country, but in your mission tree, you become the new Gnomish hierarchy, essentially. Fun fact, as Gibbers, you can form the Gnomish hierarchy. That'd be a fun challenge, is seeing how fast you can form it as Gibber. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the world at large. So the revolution ended up spawning in Rubyhold, and it is in the entirety of our nation, but we did not flip revolutionary as we have 0 absolutism, thanks to the natural reduction of absolutism in being a technocracy, up -60 here, and giving out tons and tons of things to the estates, specifically the adventurers. Each one of these gives -5 max absolutism, and that was able to keep us down at 0, which is beautiful. Make sure that even with 100% of the revolution, there are 0 downsides for that happening. And I wanted to stay a technocracy, so I didn't really want to switch. Okay, so let's start off with rulers. So we only had 3 rulers in the game, I believe, and this is the 3rd one. My first ruler lived until she died of old age. The second one died of old age just a couple years before this one. Actually, I think it was like 5 years ago. The other ruler died. And this is just a nephew, so yeah, we've had the same kind of family tree ruling the Gibberty hierarchy for the entirety of the game. As for government, we have Silver Dwarf as an accepted culture. We like the dwarves. We see no reason to be angry with them. Lots of modifiers. We don't need to go through all the modifiers. Diplomacy, not them, me. So we only have 2 allies. That's Revolutionary Rubyhold and Nimscod here. Yeah, nothing too crazy about that one. Lots of improved relations though, plus 93%, which we can get up even higher if we switch over in our factions over to the Technomancers to get that additional plus 33%. Economy, we make so much money. We make so much money. It is unbelievable. Production is 1,000 crowns alone. We would have maxed out sometime soon. You see, we're subsidizing Nim's got 106. It doesn't even affect us in the slightest. Trade-wise, lots of money for trade. Technology, maxed out. At one point, I was like plus 400% ahead of time on tech, which was kind of insane. But we just get so many tech cost reductions and had so many monarch points just laying around that I just took it because why not? We had a 100 innovativeness pretty early on in the game. As for ideas, I went diplomatic, offensive, innovative, quantity, administrative, quality, trade, and economic. Diplomatic to get rid of coalitions, Offensive, because I love offensive ideas. Innovativeness, to max out the innovativeness gain that we get, plus get cheaper advisors and more artificer loyalty. Quantity, I needed more troops and more manpower recovery speed. Admin, I needed the core costs. There's so much development in here that it was way too expensive to do so without it. Then I went quality because I wanted more artillery combat ability and some more discipline. Trade, because why not? And economic, because I already have so much money, why not just get more? Plus, the dev cost was nice. I could just develop more. You know, whenever I wanted to click those buttons, I could click them. As for missions, I believe we completed all of them. Yes, lots and lots of missions here. Very good. The mission tree focuses on expanding in the Esmeria region, which we can take a look at here. You basically get claims on all of Esmeria, and you create your own little gnomish hierarchy, the Gibberty hierarchy in this area. But obviously, I wanted more. I was not happy with that. Decisions and policies, we got lots of policies. It is fine. Stability, nothing crazy here. We do have a little bit of overextension. It's just this island. Religion. So we went rebellionism because that is what you do as the gnomes in the at least the imperial gnomes. You definitely want to flip rebellion. And most of our provinces have been converted. I didn't really worry about converting them. I didn't really see a point. We have so much religious unity that it was not a big deal. As for military, we have 687,000 troops. We could have had over 1 million, but again, like, what's the point? No one was going to attack me, so I didn't feel like building them. Boats. I didn't have any boats until maybe 20 years ago when I decided that eventually I was going to take this. I kept getting called into wars with Rubyhold to take this island, and yeah, they never gave it to me. So eventually I just had to build boats and then go take it myself. We have no subjects because everyone would hate us, and we already looked at the estates. So, great power list. We are obviously #1, pretty solidly #1 as well. And we are the economic hegemon. I figured that we might as well click that and get some more goods produced. It was very nice. Could have gone military, wouldn't really mattered. I guess I could have gone naval, but that would have been weird and no real point to that. But yeah, we have us, we have the command, which is over here. They're looking pretty good. Oh no. Oh man, they're at war? Well, that's sad because yeah, they were allied for a long time, but it seems like they are attacking one of Verko Gulan's allies, and so that broke. That is very sad. Sirenvar is #3. They're definitely a big threat. Revolutionary Laurent, they only went revolutionary near the very end. Revolutionary Encardia, they had quite the game. They were a personal union of Covenblatt at one time, who was #3 world power, I think, when that happened. And then they got independence from Sirenvar, and now they're allied to Sirenvar, which is why I never went up into here. Was never worth it. But yeah, they had a crazy game. Elisna down here did pretty good. They've had these borders for a while, I think. Yeah, they've been allied to Gelcaucus. They were allied to Sarian before they collapsed. Not sure what happened to them. I was also allied to them, and then I looked over and they had 11,000 troops, and I was like, well, never mind. That's useless. We have the Lake Federation, but that did not unite in the Lake Federation, but instead just expanded. At least I don't think this is a united Lake Fed. I thought they were always blue, but maybe they're not. And finally, Revolutionary Rubyhold, our ally, is #8. You know, it's kind of cool. We have the dwarves and we have the gnomes that have taken over the parts of the empire that no longer exist. And now we will look at the culture map mode. Yeah, I tried to get imperial gnomes everywhere by getting rid of the humans and elves, but it just takes so long. It takes so long with this much development. So we were not able to get everything converted over, but in time, everything would become gnomish. Lots and lots of gnomes. There are some elven minorities still here and there, but that's okay. For the most part, it is just gnomes, which is pretty cool. Religion map mode, rebellionism, pretty much just us and Rubyhold. I'm sure there's people in the New World that also flipped, but we ate most of the people that flipped rebellion. Coronite did well, and Laurent is the last bastion of the Regent Court. Fey Court, obviously, with Sirenvar, has spread out real well. Sun Cult doing okay. High Philosophy, God Lost, nothing crazy there. At one point, these guys owned most of the Forbidden Plains, and they did flip Jad. So, and Jad was almost dead. I think they kind of came back, which is kind of cool for them. Let's see, anything else that I wanted to go over? I guess we can look at the development map mode here. We do not have the most developed provinces in the world. We cannot compete with Dwarven Holds. Just no shot. And there was another province. Where was it? Yeah, this right here. Jungle. 50 development. This was higher. But I think it's just a tribe. Yeah, it's a revolutionary. Doesn't even tell me. Revolutionary, whatever that says. Yeah, they're a tribe. Looks like since they flipped revolutionary though, they lost a lot of development, but it's still 50 development on Jungle Province. That's kind of nuts. But if we look at just our country here, we have quite a bit of development up north in the lands that we've held for a while, and then down south, some of the large places that we took from other nations are pretty highly developed. But yeah, most things are looking good. I mean, we make so much money. Development is not a problem for us. And I think that is everything. I guess we can look at our losses in military. That'll be a good place to wrap it up on. So if we look at army losses here, so where am I? Why am I not on top? What if I just go war armies? It'll just show me. So we've lost 3.02 million gnomes. Thank you for your service. Most of those are from attrition. Yeah, I just run big stacks around at the end, like 200,000 stacks, and just obliterate people because I didn't want to do anything else. I didn't want to try to min-max that. We have so many gnomes, it doesn't matter. We gain 8,000 manpower per month. We are looking very solid. But yeah, I would just like to thank you guys for your support. Again, it's super cool. I just thought this would be a fun little time lapse to do. Been playing this game for a while, and I hope to do more stuff like this in the future, and also more kinds of content. I'm having a lot of fun creating YouTube videos and everything like that. So I think that is going to do it for today. I would like to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.